Big Sky play upon us, and we continue to preview around the league, including the game that goes down in Bozeman on Saturday afternoon. Eastern Washington taking on Montana State. Aaron Best, the head coach of the Eagles, joining us here now on ESPN Radio. Coach, thanks for being here. How you doing?
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Met a few years ago now, but we continue to have conversations when the Montana schools pop up on our calendar. So appreciate the time to speak some Eagle language.
Well, the fun part here is that with all the weird scheduling that's happened in the Big Sky, you guys have played Montana State year in and year out since this like new schedule block came out. We'll see if that changes when they change it into the next schedule block. But I always just like when sort of the traditional Big Sky Conference teams that have been around for a long time play each other. So, what do you think of just having the Cats on the schedule each of the last 4 or 5 years?
Well, I think it's good. I think it's good for the Big Sky Conference. I think I talked to somebody a day or two ago. The better the both teams are, the better the game. When there's more on the line, the better the game is. I know the last year's was a close one. A couple years ago in Bozeman, it wasn't a close one. But I mean, you look back probably the last 20 years, 25 years since I've been around. Whether it's in Bozeman or in Cheney, whether it is the Cats or the Grizz, I mean, it always seems to be, all three teams have, kind of put their worries aside, play their best football in that 60 minutes, and it always comes down to, the last quarter, last possession, or last kick. So, two good teams hooking up. Obviously, one of the best teams in the nation that we're facing on the road. So, their road test or their home test, we're road tested. So, something's got to give this weekend in Bozeman.
Yeah, it is crazy. We were going through some of like our best games we've ever covered in the Big Sky at Skyline Sports, and man, I'm telling you, I think like half of the top 10 would be Eastern Washington versus Montana State, right? Like you had the 52-51 crazy game in Bozeman. The next year was like 55-50 out there in Cheney. Even a couple times ago in Cheney, when you guys it came all the way down the wire, I think the Cats won by like two. It was like 38-36 or 38-35. It's just so close every time that these two teams play. So just specifically about Montana State, why do you think it is you guys bring out the best in each other?
Well, I don't. I mean, I think we respect each other's programs. I
Yeah.
think we've both done it for a long time and try to sustain some baseline good level football. It's not an easy travel for either party. Usually, when you're on the bus, a little bit different than on the plane when you're doing that. And so I think that does. It depends on where you play them in the year. I mean, a couple years ago, we played them before we went out to Florida,
Right.
and kind of let that one get out of our hands in Cheney, and with a crazy kind of last minute play by Danny Yu and the pick that they didn't overrule. I mean, it just kind of, I don't know if it's just the way it is when the teams get together. I think you throw out the records. I think you throw out the preseason stuff. I think you just put the ball down and let it play, and consistently they've had a great defense, high octane offense. Guys can move the sticks, and again, playing at their place in front of 20,000 plus. It is undoubtedly the second loudest place to play in the Big Sky Conference. So we got our hands full for sure.
Aaron Best joining us, Eastern Washington head coach. They play in Bozeman on Saturday. People keep asking me to try to analyze like where we're at with the Big Sky coming into league play, and I just tell them I have no clue because the scheduling is just so all over the place, right? Like some teams have played the best of the best. Some teams have played FBSs, multiple FBS games. You guys have played an FBS and multiple, solid to great FCS programs. And then some people have played, non-NCAA schools too. So it's just sort of all over the map. So I mean, when you're trying to get a gauge of your team though coming into conference play, how do you sort of go about it, and where do you think you're at right now with your Eagles?
Well, I think you and I both know. I mean, conference is different than non-conference. I've seen teams, I've been a part of teams that played really, really well in non-conference
Sure.
and didn't hit that or keep the stride going into conference play. Then I've also been part of non-conference 0-4s in 2011. We won the national title the year before and ripped off six of the last seven. So non-conference is what it is. You kind of get a feel for who you intend to become, and then what you become to me is kind of what conference play is all about. And this league is so tough. And it sounds like a broken record. year in and year out, but it continues to get better and better and better. Whether you're at home or whether you're away, whether you're facing number one from last year in the conference or number 12 from last year in the conference. I mean, you can't play C game and win games in this conference. You just can't. And that wasn't the case 10, 12, 15 years ago, where you might be able to get away with 14-point victory on the road if you played a C plus game. Now that's not the case. It's the recruiting, it's the players, it's the coaching, it's the environments we're playing in. But each school does what they do in the non-conference slate based on probably what they can and can't do. With the places that they're at. But the conference is upon us. We got 8 in front of us. We got to take them one game at a time.
Well, you guys got a good win last week over Western Illinois. So what'd you like just about your team's performance?
Well, I didn't like the completion percentage, but what I did like out of the ones we did complete, that they were explosive, really, really explosive. And we lacked explosive plays the week before in Cedar Falls. We gave up too many. The week before that against Boise, that was like an 18 or 20 explosives to like 4. So we've gradually gotten to find ways to be a little bit more explosive. Gave the ball away 2 times. We threw 2 picks. One we could have done something with at the receiver position, so we kind of put the quarterback in a bind after watching film. I like the fact we got our run game on track a little bit. It's nice to see us, churn out 300 yards on the ground. Nate Bell's a ball player. It was in his second start, first start at home, and played the position as well as he could have. And again, probably could have got some help from his friends at receiver. We beat up a few too many balls, just like we did the week before. So that's going to help out that department. I thought we played really, really well defensively outside of that one series where we kind of gave up an explosive. Then they went after us again and got a touchdown. Penalties is something we've got to find a way to kind of still be aggressive, but the pre-snap and post-whistle ones we can do away with, because that's gonna catch up to you in Big Sky Conference play on the road. But scoring 52 points is always going to be a position where you're going to probably find yourself in a winning situation. Playing sound football against a run is also going to do that. And when they, at the end of the day, Colter 4.5 yards per play. No matter who you face, if they are 4.5 yards per play from start to finish, you're putting yourself in a pretty good position. So all in all, I thought it was a pretty. It wasn't clean, but it was clean enough to get away with a 3 touchdown victory.
Well, you mentioned Nate Bell, and he'll be joining us a little later on here today. But he's a great athlete, He's really fun to watch. So, what have you thought of just his sort of emergence? Because I know Jared Taylor's a guy you guys were high on, and a guy that's a great player himself. So, what have you thought of Nate just stepping up and sort of taking the reins there at quarterback for you?
Well, I mean, before the season's, his question to me, even prior to getting on into camp, was how can I impact this team in whatever way I can, whether that's at returner, whether that's at quarterback or at receiver, in a selfless type question. That's who he is. He's a high competitive guy. Even though he's not a demonstrative type of player, he's a high competitive juice guy. He wants to impact the game in whatever way and capacity he can. He's a team ball player. He's a tough tackle. I like the fact that he played baseball. I mean, he's got some baseball stuff to him. He kind of sees things before they happen, or as they happen, and gets himself out of jams. And so he's got a great feel for the game in an early part of his career. And he makes us a better team being on the field. So we got to we got to make reservations for Nate Bell as one of the 11 to maintain some of that greatness on the field, whether it's at quarterback or other positions.
It's interesting you said he played baseball. I hadn't realized that. He looks like a baseball. He moves kind of like a middle infielder, right? He's got something like that Russell Wilson playing shortstop to him a little bit.
He's just smooth, he's just smooth
Yeah.
and he's unflappable. And, he's going to take some chances, calculated risks, and we're okay with that. Don't play safe. But we can't play silly either. It's got to be in between, in which he does and has done very well for the first 2 starts of his career.
Aaron Best here on Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, as well as SWX Montana Television and the ESPN MT app. Eastern Washington in Bozeman on Saturday afternoon. What else have you liked? Who else has emerged as a leader, and who else has performed up to your standards so far here this season?
Well, I mean, we're always trying to push the envelope culture. I think 2 guys on defense kind of stick out. that maybe weren't household names coming in. Jalen Jenkins and Bryce Smith. One of them being a first fall guy, in Bryce, and he's got a block punt. Got I think he's upwards of 30 plus tackles at our nickel position. And this day and age, no one runs base, so you're playing two backers and kind of a fifth DB with all the formations we get. So he's been impactful on defense and been a really really bright spot for such a short runway thus far in his career. Jalen Jenkins has done a great job. We've had a ton of guys not being able to be available in our first four games, so we've had guys have to almost step up, not knowing that that was going to be their role early on in the year. So we'll still have some guys that emerge as the season comes along, but we'll keep gelling, we'll keep grinding, we'll keep competing. But I think those two guys on defense kind of have been bright spots. We probably anticipated Jalen Jenkins to be a guy, but didn't know what we were going to get this early in the career of Bryce Smith, and he's been good. He's on the verge and got the ability to be great for a long time in this conference.
When it comes to this matchup, then Montana State, obviously a huge transition year for them after losing, 24 seniors and a whole bunch of coaches on the staff, but they've been solid, especially these last couple of weeks. So what have you seen and early on here from Montana State when you turn on the film?
Well, I mean, obviously they established a run. They've got the deepest and probably best running back room in the nation at our level. They've got a quarterback that makes really good decisions. I know it's in his first season under Coach Vegan and the system. He's made good decisions. They're able to run with him. Maybe not as much as maybe with Tommy or Mr. Chambers, but he does what he needs to do and he does it well. He relies on that defense. Obviously, you guys they played a different pace at home because of that home crowd. Gets them going third down. They're a menace. They're really really good on third down. They've been defensively good on third down for a long time. So we've got to be productive on first and second down. Two guys up front with Iden and Brat. They'll make life miserable for those guys up front. So we've got to make sure we keep those guys at bay to some degree. We're not going to stop them, but we got to contain the pass rush and get some knockoff and get some doubles because they can make plays in the run game single handedly. And they're active on the back seven. They'll get in passing windows. They keep everything in front and they'll take calculated risks at times, but they're not going to be a high pressure, zero alpha, put corners and safeties and nickels on islands. They're going to keep everything in front and be calculated with the pressures and rely on that offensive run game and play action off the run offensively. So I know they probably aren't happy scoring 17 at home, but I'm probably happy that they put a zero on the other side of the scoreboard last week against Mercyhurst. And so they're going to be giddy. They're going to want to score points. It was 17-0 at half, ended up being 17-0. Mercyhurst had opportunities, but Montana State thwarted those opportunities in the red zone. So they're going to lean on their defensive run game like they have the last 4 or 5 years.
Keys for your team then? What sort of things is it going to take for you guys to come into Bozeman and get a win?
Yeah, we're gonna have to continue to produce in the running back running game and not just rely on the quarterback to be the plus one must get first down run game. We've got to create some explosives. We got to stay. I wouldn't say penalty free, but we need to limit the amount of penalties we have, especially in situations where it's third down or fourth down and we're replaying the down after we move the sticks. And our special teams got to step up. We had a great return game last week, and the punt and the one kickoff return we had that were big. But we've got to make sure we execute, and field goals are potentially going to be the backbreakers in this game. So we've got to be calculated in our on our approach as far as fourth down kicks versus fourth down opportunities to go for it. But we got to put the ball between the pipes when we get the opportunity because points are at a premium this Saturday.
Aaron Best here on ESPN Radio, Coach. Good catching up. Thanks so much, and travel safe. Best of luck on Saturday. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Colter. Appreciate it.
Our coverage of Big Sky Conference opening week continues, and a couple of the best games in the league are in the state of Montana, including Eastern Washington coming to Bozeman to take on Montana State. Nate Bell, the quarterback for the Eastern Washington Eagles, joining us now. Nate, what's up, man? Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
First of all, tell us about taking over as the starting guy there at Eastern. I know Jared Taylor goes down. You were expected to have a role one way or the other, but now you've kind of been the man. So what's it taking? What's sort of your mentality taking over as the starting quarterback for the Eagles?
I just even before when Jared was playing, obviously I'm just trying to prepare myself as I am a starter. So that was important for me, and then just being able to play my game, obviously lean on my coaches, lean on my teammates, and kind of just not trying to be a hero, but just do what I need to do to get the job done.
You guys had a nice win last week over Western Illinois and had some big plays both in the pass game and the run game. So take me through it. What sort of things did you like just in terms of the way you guys executed last week?
QB run, like +1 run game, obviously it's kind of tough to guard as a defense. So we knew we could take advantage of that. Obviously, trusting our O line to just get the blocks where it came to the run game, and then just winning one-on-ones in the pass game was huge last week. Our guys were going up to get the ball, so that helped out a lot.
You've been great in the run game ever since your high school days. So where does that come from? I mean, has that always just been a natural talent of yours?
My dad played running back in college, high school and college, and then like my older brother and my little brother, they played running back. So kind of just running the rock was important to us. Protecting the rock was important to us, and then me stepping into more of a quarterback role. Obviously, you kind of carry over that athletic ability, that running ability, even at a young age. So kind of just developing that from youth football up into high school up until now is kind of just, I guess you could say it came natural, but we work for it still.
Totally. Where did your dad play college ball at?
He played at San Jose State.
Oh,
That's
nice.
where my
Cool.
parents met. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. You're from right around that area, right? Are you more like LA? Is that more, you're more SoCal?
No, East Bay Area. Brentwood is
Oh,
where I'm
okay.
from. Yeah,
Got it.
so
Okay. Nice. So tell me about your path to Eastern Washington. What were some of the things that sort of drew you there at Ticini?
obviously coaching staff came on my visit, like the environment, kind of a hard nosed place, obviously. So kind of have to earn your stripes, which I like. You know, nothing's given to you, especially college football wise. So just obviously talking to all the coaches before I came here was important, like relationship wise that I built that relationship. And then just knowing I could trust in obviously Coach Best and him being here and that like longevity factor obviously is important. So that was the key factors, I would say.
Eastern has such a long tradition of unbelievable quarterbacks. Is that something that they told you about in recruiting, or is that something you guys talk about now that you're in the program?
No, yeah, absolutely. You kind of walk around the stadium or even in
Right.
just the halls, you see all the awards and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see that and just be able to follow those guys and kind of look up to those guys, even watch like old film of those guys playing and kind of see what worked for them, what didn't work for them, and just how they were as players.
I've covered the league for 19 years now. They've always had guys that can extend plays and run, but the last couple years has been more guys that are like real awesome runners, like yourself and Jared Taylor, Michael Wortham, like all those guys have been able to sort of take the snap and go wherever they want, basically. So, how much of the has the offense evolved to sort of cater to the quarterback run game?
Um, I mean, a lot of it's kind of just getting out of the pocket when stuff kind of breaks down. So the idea,
Sure.
obviously, we believe that we're true pocket passers. We're dual threats. So just focusing on pass first, and if we have to get out, we can scoot if we need to. But then, just like I was saying before, the +1 run game is important. Just having our like a lead blocker and a running back when we need it, just to add an extra hat, obviously helps. So I wouldn't say it like caters an immense amount, but it's important.
Yeah, making plays on the edge, that's stressful on a defense, right? I mean, that's probably
Right.
the hardest thing in college football to defend, right?
Right.
How what else have you liked just about the offensive performance as a whole? I mean, well, who else has stood out to you? Who else are you leaning on? Who else have you built some trust with so far here these last couple weeks?
I mean, just with having a lot of guys obviously leave last year, just kind of leaning on the O line, the guys up front, Elmo, Dylan Connor, Mark, just leaning on those guys obviously, and then in the receiving game is Noah, Nolan, just all the guys, Miles, like leaning on those guys who've had experience a little more than myself, I guess. And then obviously just with the running back Cease and Kevin, just like younger guys playing, just all kind of being in the same position, almost just like leaning on each other, understanding that there will be mistakes, but kind of just moving past them and just one play at a time mentality almost.
Nate Bell joining us here on the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series. He's a quarterback for the Eastern Washington Eagles. They play in Bozeman on Saturday. So, what do you think of this matchup against Montana State?
Obviously a like very great team, very great opponent. We're just gonna try to go out there, play our ball every snap, and just kind of give it our best always, no matter the opponent.
It's been some throwdown games between these two teams. Last time you guys were in Bozeman, a little bit of a lopsided one, but other than that, I mean, it's these games have come down the wire. That you guys were down to it last time in Cheney, and then a couple times ago in Cheney, it was I think like a 2 point game. So, did you feel like these two teams bring out the best in each other?
No, absolutely. I think it's just like that's just how it is. Just the Washington Montana rivalry more than anything. Obviously with the Grizz and with the Cats. Just like at Eastern, we give it our best obviously every time, but it's a little different when we play those guys. So
Anything you've seen out of Montana State's defense that you guys really need to pay attention to or prepare for this week?
I mean nothing like you wouldn't study for any other defense. They're super disciplined, obviously very well coached. So just kind of sticking to our keys, obviously playing our ball has been our most important things.
What do you think of the opportunity then? Taking on the number 4 team in the country at their place on Saturday.
Oh yeah, I mean obviously every game's a privilege. You know, I try not to take any game for granted, but the idea of playing there, like a super cool atmosphere, obviously fans booing you, I think that's obviously super cool that you can like play in that. Obviously we played in Boise, it was kind of like that as well. So just like having that noise is just like that football environment you like seek. So it's super cool.
Thanks for taking some time, man, and good luck on Saturday.
Absolutely.
Travel safe.
Thank you. I appreciate it.